you, and welcome to On the Mark alongside Mark Papa. I'm Gary Byron. Mark is the owner and president of Financial Resources Group. They're out of Glastonbury, Connecticut. You can find them online at www.frplan. That's F as in financial, R as in resources, plan, frplan.com. Write this phone number down. More importantly, use it. I'm telling you, it could be the most important phone call you ever make for yourself, your future, maybe even your family. They're 860-657-8380. I'll give that to you one more time. Ready? 860-657-8380. If you missed any of those points of contact, no worries. I'll repeat that at least a couple more times before this show is over. Good morning, Mark. Great to see you again.
Good morning, Gary. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Of course, I've got
to,
other than cold. Yeah, I mean, but it is January. I got to ask you, last week you were talking about you had to hurry up and put another event on for the Wednesday that just passed on the 28th. I've got to ask you, how did that go?
Yeah, no, it was fine. It was really nice to be able to put
that together really quick.
Yeah, I had to, again, sometimes you just have to pivot, and we were overbooked. And again, even last time I was here, we were still getting people who wanted to come to a future event. So the demand is there for the Roth Blueprint, and I'm going to be pedal to the metal on the Roth Blueprint presentation, the 6 chain reactions, how we're able to actually help people convert those monies over time, keeping them in the same tax bracket, helping them not do it in a way that doesn't lose principal and they can maintain their balance. So they start with $1 million IRA conversion. By the time we're done with the IRA conversions, they still have the $1 million. That's the goal.
We talked a little bit.
But they have it tax free.
And are you going to offer this again? I know you just did 2 in this month, but I mean,
I don't want to make it. I can't do. Put it this way.
Can you do one a month?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right. So I'm thinking of doing. I would say I probably will do up until April. Take a little break and then do some maybe in the summer, because people are traveling. But most of it is the first 4 months and the last 3 months of the year, and then you get into the holidays. So it's very difficult to get people interested in the middle of summer.
You're all the rage, and I know that people call the show. They love you. I should bring you on my morning show.
Oh, thank you. I'm grateful for that. I really am. More than grateful. More than I pinch myself, and I'm lucky, very lucky person. But I've worked hard for that. But
you have. I was right about to say, hold on, you take nothing for granted. You earned everything, all of your success, and you're so knowledgeable. I mean, you really live and breathe this. What I wanted to ask you before we dive in. You mentioned something last week about crypto and Bitcoin and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of people making a lot of money on crypto right now, but it's gone down. Do you see, is that normal? I know there's ebbs and flows always, but will that rebound? I mean, should people be buying crypto right now?
Well, I think that's an opportunity to bring Manny Rivera back on the show.
Oh, he was with us a few months back.
He is so detailed on that. I mean, I understand stocks and bonds and portfolio management and financial planning and insurance and all the things, estate planning, all the things that come along with that. But I wouldn't be pale. I would just. Compared to him, I'm a complete amateur. He owns Bitcoin ATM. So let's talk about bringing him back on, because he could give you a much better forecast as to what's going to happen. I really don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, who is head of MicroStrategy, has basically become one of the largest corporate owners of Bitcoin. He's under some pressure right now. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with the digital currency. I mean, I'm long term on it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the day to day. I'm not looking at trading it for quick bucks.
Well, what's long term for that? 5 years, 10 years?
Maybe longer, Gary. Who knows?
Well, we're not getting any younger, bro.
Well, I know, but I have a son, so he can inherit it at a stepped up cost basis, and he'll be happy.
Manny was with us back right after Labor Day. He was with us in early September, so maybe sometime in February he's due back.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to do, because I think it's time for an update in that department.
I always wanted to ask you, and sometimes I even get this question personally. because this show is so hot and it's so important. Everybody needs to listen to this show and even tell friends and family and neighbors, coworkers, or the like about it. But the question is, what is it like from the other perspective? In other words, to be a client of yours with Financial Resources Group. And I know that you often use a comparison to illustrate this. Could you share that with all of us?
Sure. And let me just hit a quick, we're not going to be talking about investments today. So let me just hit a short disclaimer.
Of course.
Financial Resources Group, LLC is a registered investment advisor, state registered investment advisor located here in Connecticut, Glastonbury. The information discussed on this radio show is provided for general information and educational purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice, a recommendation, or an offer to buy or sell securities or to adopt any investment strategy. All investment involves risk, including the possibility of loss of principal. Mm-hmm. There is no guarantee of any investment strategy will be successful. Past performance is not indicative of future results. The views and opinions expressed here by the host and any other guests are their own and not necessarily that reflect the policy or position of Financial Resources Group, LLC. Listeners should consult a qualified financial professional who understands their specific financial situation before making any investment decisions. For more information about our firm, including our services and fees, please visit us at our website, www.frplan.com. That's www.frplan.com. Or simply just give us a call, old-fashioned way, 860-657-8380. And additional disclosures are available on our Form ADP and available upon request.
There we go.
So let's get started.
Yeah. So let's do that. What is it like to be one of your clients?
Well, what I wanted to do is, Gary, is sort of come forward and let people know what is the process of getting to know us.
Yeah.
So people might meet us through a radio show. They might meet us at a Roth Blueprint. They might meet us in passing. I might get a referral. But the answer is, Gary, now we are not a one-size-fit-all solution.
That's why people love you, and they respect that.
We are not one-size-fit-all because, remember, I mentioned that one-size-fit-all fits everybody and nobody.
Cookie
cutter. So the main thing that I like to do is we bring everybody in and we do meeting one. There's 3 meetings. So it's meeting one, the goals meeting. Meeting 2 is the full checklist review.
Okay.
And again, and by the way, if you're a Roth Blueprinter, I will bring you in as part of the goals meeting. If you bring all your information, we're still going to do the goals meeting, but you're going to get your Roth Blueprint that right then and there. And then what I'm going to do is prepare you for a full checklist review. And then when we're done with the full checklist review, we talk about implementation. But once we're done with all this stuff, Gary, we really, really know you. In fact, you know yourself better than when you first walked in the door. In many cases, it's a lot more intimately than when you first walked in. So it's not just about investments. It's not you sitting down and us glancing at your portfolio and telling you you're not diversified or telling you own too much of this or that we can do a better job and we have better investments. And it's not about that. It's about helping you discover. So what we consider our very first meeting, I tell people this is like your home inspection report. So that we do the goals meeting. I have them sit down with me and I ask them, okay, did you bring a copy of your financial power of attorney? And they'll tell me yes. And then we'll say, okay, so we're going to do a cursory review of that. And I find out how long ago it was written, how old is it? So we'll take a look at their financial power of attorney. I want to obviously take a look at their tax return. We ask them for a summary of their home insurance so that we could do a review on that to see if there's anything missing. And I'll ask people, are you aware what's happening with their home insurance? And well, the price is going up. Mm. And I'll say, exactly, it's going up. But what do you think they're doing to the benefits inside the policy? Do you think the benefits are going up, or are they whittling away and chipping away at the benefits they're willing to give you? So we've had cases where people have gone back to their insurance agent with our checklist, our insurance checklist, and in a lot of cases, believe it or not, this is very odd, have actually lowered their insurance and increased their coverage.
Wow.
Yeah, and found out
I didn't know that was possible.
Yes, and they found out that certain things wouldn't have been covered, had a tree hit their house or whatever. So they weren't aware of the exclusions, and then what happens is they have to come out of pocket to pay for the additional things that the insurance company didn't want to cover. And it was right, and all they had to do is have their policy reviewed. So we do that. We want to make sure that gets taken care of. So we'll ask them how much life insurance they have. So we really do a thorough job in getting just getting to know them and getting to know what they have. And then the whole concept of understanding the goals meeting was for them to commit. So we'll talk about, I'll have my 5 unique things that we'll ask them. And most people say yes to all 5, and they find them, 5 things that they find important, like, I want to leave, I want to leave all my money to my heirs. On a scale of 1 to 5, how important is that? And most people will tell me it's a 3 because they want to make sure that their money goes to their kids, but at the same time, they want to enjoy it while they live.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're not there to make their kids rich. So then we'll go through a list of questions. We set the goals. And then once they have the goals, I will, for each goal, I'll ask them a follow-up question as to would they want to see a certain thing that ties to that goal. Oh. So would you want to make sure, if I could show you a way to get 25% more income, lower your chance of running out of money. So that's 25% more. Lower your chance of running out of money, and lowering your chance of running out of money, and do that without having to change a single investment. How would that be? And they'll be like,
phenomenal.
I need to change my investment. So, yeah, there is a way to do that. Or we'll say something like, what if I could show you a way to pay less than 1% on your investment income versus the 15 to 20% people pay on their dividend income? How would that be? Would you want to take a look at that?
I'm in.
You're in, right? So we'll go through those goals, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll basically say, okay, well, we're going to make an appointment a week, 7 to 10 days out, and we'll come back and we're going to do what's called our full checklist review. So we did a show on the full checklist review earlier. So that's meeting 1. So we want to get to really, really get all the information so we can properly evaluate what's going on. Not to be nosy. Not to say you need to switch a bunch of things. We just tell people right at the meeting, it's like, look, some things you may like, you may not like. We're here to find those things.
Wow.
We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to help you discover the things you like or don't like.
You are incredibly thorough, Mark. And I don't say that lightly, because I tell you, a lot of people don't do that.
Well, I want to bring this up, Gary. Like the Roth Blueprint, no one in Connecticut is doing the full checklist review. There's nobody doing it.
We should do another show on that.
They're doing parts of it. So I've listened to other advisors. They're doing parts of it. They're doing some of it. But there's no one doing all 21 things. Nobody. I haven't heard anyone yet. And again, remember I talked about if I find somebody who else is doing it, when I'm done, when you shake me and throw water on me and wake me up with my smelling salts after I pass out, no one's doing it. Very, very few people.
All right. So once someone becomes a client of yours, how then do you take the next step and start to build on that initial review?
All right. Well, I mentioned I started with the goals meeting, and then we do the full checklist review. Yeah. And the full checklist review, Gary, is really it's kind of like a home inspection report. So let's say, for example, you wanted to buy a home. Now, are you going to want to make sure there's nothing wrong with, let's say, the foundation or the electrical or the plumbing?
That's why you have an inspection.
Right. You're going to have an inspection. Yeah. And hopefully we're past the days of people waiving the inspection, because I think that's just insanity.
No, I bought my house a couple of years ago. I bought a new house, and I had an inspection, believe me.
I don't care how much you like that house. If you do it without the inspection, you're
asking for trouble.
You're just asking for trouble. Yeah. So, and that's the same thing with financial plans. It's the same thing. We want to make sure that we're doing that inspection to make sure there's nothing eroding their under the surface, eating away at their retirement. And then there's contingencies. There's things that could pop up out of the weeds that they weren't aware of. We want to uncover those things and help seal as many. We're never going to be able to be 100%, but we want to seal as many potential cracks, many potential liabilities as possible. And then not all of it, a lot of it's not monetary, Gary. Some of it just has to do with family. So family or sentimental, what about sentimental items? What can happen if, let's say, you had two brothers or two sisters? Now, can you split cash very easily? Is anyone going to fight over cash?
People fight over cash daily.
They do. But if someone said you're getting half this pile of money and you get the other half,
then that's pretty cut and dry.
It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, sounds good.
But what happens if it's a non-monetary item? What happens if it's like grandma's pie plate or a vase, or two women want the same wedding ring?
Oh, boy. You better document this.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to make sure those are kind of things that we do.
Is that like an asset map? Is that what that is? Or
the asset map is a little bit separate from that, but that's part of the 21-point checklist. So good. The asset map is when someone's done, when you're finally ready to come on board, and we've made all the decisions, You've moved in your money. You moved all the money in. And okay, you're going to be working with us. We use a new product called Asset Map. And if you go to www.frplan.com, Gary, we actually have a little video what the Asset Map looks like.
Nice.
And you know what it looks like? It's a very, very visual organization chart of your financial plan. It's really awesome. It's only 15, 16 pages. You don't need you don't look. And here's the other problem with financial plans. They use projections. Projections are worthless. Okay. And anybody who's showing you projections and telling you that your money's going to do this and it's going to do that based on this fake assumption is pulling your leg. So you can't rely on that. So what I tell people is this financial plan is basically to give you a visual of where all your assets are, what assets, what's generating you income, what's a long-term investment, where are you going to get your money this year. So I just had a client retire very recently, and we did the asset map about 2 years ago. His wife was retired, but he was still working. She's a little bit older. So we had her Social Security set up, but his was all grayed out. His Social Security doesn't start yet. He's only 60, so he's got a ways to go. So I'll say, let's take that at 67. I put the date in. But then, he has a little pension that he can take right away. And then he has, large IRAs, which we're going to do some Roth conversions on. But, he's going to have to start pulling some money out of his accounts. So like, Mark, can I retire? And I'm looking at this asset map with like 2.2 million in it. I'm like, yeah, no problem. How much money do you need? What do you need and how much? And his wife said to the penny, told me what they need every month. And then I was able to not just take their assets. I was saying, this is where we're going to draw from. This is the percentage we're going to draw from these. And then this is when we're going to draw it. So they wanted some of the money to hit the first week of the month, some to hit the middle week, because their pensions hit in the middle of the month, and then another piece hit in the third. We were able to get that precision, whatever money they needed. And by the way, they weren't going to even come close to falling short or running out of money based on because they had and they're not actually going to be starving either. They're happy with that amount of money. That's what they told me they wanted. But because we have that asset map and we have that financial plan in place, which again we can review once a year or every 6 months. It was not a problem.
Cool.
And it was easy to understand. It wasn't. I've seen these financial plans with charts and graphs. 300 pages long. So you literally have to start digging through the plan just to find the stuff that the client cares about.
No one didn't even look at that. Folks, you are listening to You're listening to On the Mark. Along with Mark Papa, I'm Gary Byron. Mark is the president and CEO of Financial Resources Group out of Glastonbury. You can find him online, www.frplan.com, and 860-657-8380. That's the phone number. Schedule a no-obligation consultation. Get yourself a $100 gift card. You can maybe schedule one of his next seminars that he does over at Ruth Chris. Maybe not yet. He's looking to do another one towards the end of next month. 860-657-8380. He'll do a Zoom meeting. Go in and schedule yourself. It'll be one of the best meetings you ever do for yourself. If you missed any of those points of contact there, I'll give it to you one more time, more towards the end of the show. I'm listening to all this. I'm actually visualizing it all. It's so helpful. What about taxes and maximizing income? How do you address those?
Well, that's interesting. So, Gary, for the people that we can, again, who are willing to do the Roth conversions, I think that's extremely helpful towards their future. But let's say you don't want to do a Roth conversion. Let's just say it's not in the cards for you. You just don't like the tax bracket. You don't like the amount of time it's going to take. But let's say you do have some of that Roth money. Let's say you have a brokerage account. Let's say you have your traditional IRA. So what we do is we look to, using a tax smart strategy, optimize your income streams. Instead of the traditional wisdom that says spend down your IRAs first, spend down the taxable money first, and spend it, that actually increases your taxes over time and actually increases your chance of running out of money over the long periods of time because you're paying bigger and bigger tax bills. So, that IRA's got to work doubly hard. People who say, I'm just going to live on my dividends, unless you have 10 million, you're not living on your dividends. Dividends, there may be 5 million, but the dividends are not all that sexy. The amount that's really coming out.
It's a lot of dividends.
What are you getting, 1 to 2%?
Right, exactly.
And those are being taxed. Some are being taxed at ordinary income. Some of it's being taxed at preferred qualified income. So that's adding to your tax bill. So what we like to do is we like to take a piece from each. So we take a piece from the Roth, a piece from the brokerage, and a piece from the IRA. But you can't just do that on your own. You need us to use we use what's called a tax clarity software. And I'm able to bring people's taxable income down, typically by a lot, dramatically, like maybe keep them in the 12% bracket or keep them from going from the 22 to 24 bracket, and a lot of people from going from 24 to 32. You don't want to go to there. That's a big jump, especially on a lot of income. So we're really good at being able to use this, what we call a tax map profile plan. I basically take all your tax return from the prior year. I put in the 2026. Then we look at what your income streams are going to be, and then I show you where to get that income. So I'm going to show you the do nothing plan and how much you're going to pay, and then I go in and show the do something plan and how much you're going to pay, and then let's get really extreme, and I can bring that tax bracket way, way down so that you're keeping more for you, more for your family, and that money's compounding for you in your future, not going to the government. So in a state like Connecticut, you really need something like that. So that is easy to do, by the way. Simple, easy approach. The asset map, simple, easy to do. Fixing things in the 21-point checklist, like, for example, there might be a missing clause in your power of attorney, or your power of attorney may not give you the power to change a beneficiary. It may not give you the power to gift for Medicaid reasons. Whatever the case, it may be flawed. We have a power of attorney review checklist that we help you with, and then we'll send you back. We'll send you back to one of your lawyers once we know where all the flaws are.
I know. I just sent my mom to you. You met with my mom, and she appreciates it. She loves you. And
thank you. Yeah, she's a wonderful woman. So, she's an easy person to help.
How long is your initial consultation? I thought you said one time that it's really an initial consultation is broken under 2 meetings, right?
Typically 45 to an hour for the first meeting.
And then they got to come back, though, for the second, right?
The second is, if we can move it along a couple hours.
Okay. And what do they need to bring with them to be prepared?
Well, I mean, in the first meeting, if I'm really able to do my job, I want to see that old power of attorney. I want to take a look at that old will of theirs that hasn't been updated in 10 to 15 years. Even if it's a new will, we still want to take a look at it. There's certain things in there that just with a cursory review we typically see are missing. So we want to make sure that that's covered just in case. So will, power of attorney, tax returns, summary of their home insurance, and then obviously investment statements. And the investment statements, we're looking at the fine print. We want to also know, how does your major brokerage firm, your health insurance company, your life insurance firm treat your power of attorney? Because I can't tell you how many times banks and brokerage firms reject perfectly legal powers of attorney. In addition, and this is the freebie I give to everybody, you can Google this, and there's probably, I don't know how many hits. Social Security does not honor your perfectly legal power of attorney. So if you had an identity theft and your partner was incapacitated, or your spouse was incapacitated, or your spouse was no longer able to handle their own affairs, then you would need to know exactly what to do. What are the steps that you need to take? And by the way, Social Security is not doing in-person appointments anymore. So think about the red tape that's going to create when it comes to an incapacity, Gary. Wow. How hard is it going to be able to manage that Social Security? And what would happen, we tell the story about a retired professor that he accidentally gets his Social Security gets shut off. That can happen with an identity theft, or it can happen with a keystroke error at the government, because does the government make mistakes ever? Are they perfect?
Yeah, of course they make mistakes. I didn't know that you can't get a person with Social Security anymore, though. Is that right?
Well, I'm not saying that that's 100% the case now, but it is getting harder and harder to actually go to the field offices and meet with people. Everything's going online. And let's face it, the technology curve is far exceeding what they're demanding of us, our ability to learn that. So if you're older, I still have people calling me. I would say my number one customer service issue is people being able to log into their account. They get locked out. Then the 2FA you have their phone doesn't get text messages, so they have to use another special. It's just so hard because of all the identity theft, and seniors, of course, are probably the most vulnerable of anybody to do that. So, and one other thing I was going to bring up is that we're also, identity theft is a big part of what we're doing. So we're going to continue with ongoing education for identity theft for all of our clients. And I give them a link that they should go to, Kim Commando, plus AARP, and plus the FTC. There's so many different opportunities for people, but they need to know not to click on certain things, not to fall victim for certain things. So, so that's all part of it, too.
I got to wrap this up in about 2 minutes. What's the takeaway? What could people, if you had to surmise this show this morning?
Well, what I would say is I would, really enjoy helping you if you were willing to help yourself. The checklist review is the most thorough way of getting that done. I've built them out around my business and around my clients to protect them from these contingencies. These are things that are going to pop up. Even the smartest people, Gary, this has happened to. I had a situation recently where the outdoor pipes were not insured and they broke.
Really?
And that was the sewer connection. And MDC is not responsible for that. And if you don't have that insured, good luck to you. You're going to have to come.
Why doesn't your homeowners insurance cover anything that's outside your home?
It's a special provision. But again, if everybody had their home insurance reviewed by us, Gary, they'd know that. So those are things that you want to do. And you also want to make sure that, so those are things that people tend to miss, or they bought their policy online, or they didn't have a good agent to really cover that stuff. So, it's so important. These are just the little things these are headaches. Because what kind of advisor would I be, Gary, if I got a call saying, I need $10,000 out of my brokerage account to pay for this construction company to come and fix this problem?
Well,
would it be good or bad?
No, that'd be terrible.
It'd be terrible.
You wouldn't be doing your job.
I wouldn't be doing my job. And how many, that's why we do it, Gary. We don't get paid to do these things, by the way, but why do I still do them?
This is going the extra mile. This is why you're the guru of Connecticut. This is why I send my family to you. This is why I'm with you. My goodness. Folks, if you'd like more information, please head on over to Financial Resources Group website, which is www.frplan, F as in Frank, rplan.com. And if you'd like to schedule that no obligation consultation, sit down with Mark and see what he can do for you. It's all customized. 860-657-8380. I'm going to give it to you again. Get your pad, get your pen ready. I'll slow it down, write it down. More importantly, call him. 860-657-8380. For Mark Papa, I'm Gary Byron. Thank you so much for listening to On the Mark with Financial Resources Group. Until next Saturday morning, have a good one, everybody. So long.